Look at this image. Look at how boring this is. Look how bland it is. I mean, it's lifeless. It's soulless. I love it so much. It's no secret that the Mario 64 render art is very popular nowadays. A lot of artists are trying to recreate this exact same model and put Mario into different situations, really just fake promotional art. There is a mod for the Mario 64 PC port that retextures everything to look like this style. People are obsessed with it, and so am I. Like, I bought the Mario 64 box just to look at it. Hell, I bought boxes for games that don't even exist so I can just stare at Mario. That boring photo that I just showed you, I'm gonna be putting up a 24x36 framed poster of it in my room. And yet the truth of the matter is, this is objectively bad. I mean, everything that I said in the beginning of this video wasn't necessarily false. Look, there's a reason why we don't see this art style in official Nintendo promotion anymore. It's outdated. It's bad. I mean, I love it, and if you clicked on this video, chances are you do too, but there is a reason why we rely on the fan base to create newer versions of this. And I kind of wanted to answer the question in this video, why can't people let go? What is so special about this art style? Because like I said earlier, it kind of looks weird. I mean, everything seems to be made out of clay. This is really just the limitations of 3D models at the time. But why have people clung to the worst version of Mario? Why in 3 to 5 business days am I going to dedicate 24x36 inches of my wall to this guy right here? Especially when there's like 20 more years of Mario artwork that is objectively better at this point. And I think it's kind of simple. It's because we don't see this anymore. It's because this is kind of almost locked in a place in time. Super Mario Sunshine came out 6 years after Super Mario 64. That's not that big of a gap. In fact, this is pretty much 22 years ago when Mario Sunshine came out. I mean, 22 years versus 28 years, you would think we would be just as nostalgic for this version of Mario in terms of an artistic sense, but we're not. The reason for that is because this version of Mario is pretty much the same one that we see today. You know, technology, it was increasing pretty rapidly back then on what they could do with 3D models. So when 2002 rolled around, they pretty much solidified what Mario would look like for the rest of time. Now here and there it would get a little bit better. Mario Odyssey, for some reason they felt like they had to animate every single little fucking hair on his mustache. And trust me, this is gorgeous, but there's nothing really special about it anymore. Every single generation of consoles that we get, Mario remains the same. Each game, he pretty much looks the same. The nostalgia factor on artwork, or just promotional artwork for Mario games moving forward, is pretty much lost and has been for about 20 years. And that's just it. It's nostalgia. And that was pretty obvious. You would probably know that already. But what I want to point out is that we won't really be getting that anymore for Mario. I mean, even looking back to the 1980s when Mario was just first popping up, we've kind of seen this art style replicated since then. Nintendo likes to use this art style. It seems like everything before Mario 64 and everything after is fair game. If you took a look at the Mario Galaxy box art, like, it's nice artwork, maybe it'll remind you a little bit of when you bought the game, but when you stare into the box art for Mario 64 or any of the promotional art, you are basically just transported to that moment in time that you first saw it. So yeah, it's outdated, it's kind of bland, everybody looks shiny, it's weird, but I love it. Since this version of Mario is stuck in the 1990s and it's locked in that time and era forever, we're gonna hold on to it even tighter. We want to look at that render, be brought back to a time in gaming that was probably the most exciting. There was a lot of changes going on. Things were bigger, things were better. You were probably a kid back then. Gaming was probably more fun, and you longed to have those days back. And you probably didn't really appreciate the art at the time. It was just something you didn't even think about. You really just wanted to get to the game, but once something is gone, you realize how much it actually meant to you. And if you really think about it, maybe it isn't even the art. Maybe it's just that time and place that you were the most happy, the most excited, the games you played, the times you had with your family, all of that. I really think that is what this is all about. If it's all about nostalgia, then is it really this art style that we love so much? Because if this came out today, and the Mario that we have now was the Mario that we had always had, I don't think we'd give it a second glance. In fact, we probably would criticize it, say it's bad, it's boring, it's bland, all of that. That may be true, but the memories that we have with this version of Mario are very special. And this version of Mario will always bring us back to those times. And I think that's the reason why we love it so much.